are a lot of eukaryotic cell parts to keep track of, and it's pretty difficult to remember how they all work together. So you can use the analogy of a soccer team to help you remember every part of the eukaryotic cell. So first we're going to talk about the nucleus, which is sometimes called the vault for the $1 million blueprint of a cell, because it contains the cell's genetic material. It's mainly composed of a double phospholipid bilayer with selectively permeable pores that allow mRNA to enter and exit to help with protein manufacturing. So the nucleus could be compared to the team captain on the soccer team because it directs the game plan, controls the team movements, and its actions determine the team's characteristics.
Okay, so next up we have the nucleolus. So the nucleolus is located in the center of the nucleus and contains both RNA and DNA, and its main ability is to synthesize rRNA to make ribosomes. So the nucleolus is like the attacking midfielder of a soccer team, because if we think as proteins are as goals, the midfielder is what starts initiation process for goal scoring. And this is similar to how the nucleolus is the basis of the protein synthesis, protein production, as the nucleolus is what creates the RNA that creates ribosomes to make proteins. And it's also the link between the defense and the attacking side, and this is similar to the mRNA he dispatches, or the nucleolus dispatches.
So the next thing we have is the smooth endoplasmic reticulum. So what is the smooth ER? Smooth ER is responsible for the synthesis of lipids and the production of steroid hormones. And we can relate this back to sports nutritionists. Nutritionists formulate a dietary plan to relieve the possible harmful substances or toxins in the athlete's system. And nutritionists can make athletes eat certain meals to store lipids and steroid hormones into their system.
And next we have the rough ER. So the rough ER, its main function is protein synthesis, and it's like it makes proteins and it gets carried over anywhere. And another function is compartmentalizes like these organelles in the cell into like different places for them to do their function. And the rough ER is like the striker. So the striker is responsible for scoring goals, which is like back to the analogy with proteins being the goals. It uses the rough ER from the nucleolus, so it relies on the pass to score the goal, like the way rough ER relies on the nucleolus for the ribosomes.
Okay, next we're going to talk about the Golgi apparatus, and its main role in the cell is to modify proteins by attaching sugars to them, which determines the protein's function and their destination. The Golgi can be a warehouse for a time to store those proteins, but eventually it's going to package them out and send them in vesicles. So the Golgi could be compared to the trainer on the soccer team, because just like the trainer applies wraps or tape or ice to players' injuries, the Golgi is modifying the proteins with sugar to determine their function. The trainer also prepares players to either get back on the field or sit out for a while. And so this is like the Golgi shipping the proteins to their final locations.
Okay, so now we have the mitochondria. The mitochondria, as we all know, is the powerhouse of the cell. It produces ATP, the cell's main energy source, and it also regulates cell growth and regulates metabolism. So the mitochondria is similar to the team mascot. The mascot is the energy team. It's what hypes up the team and gets the team going, and as well as the fans. And the mascot helps grows the fan base, similar to how the mitochondria helps the growing of cells.
Next we have the chloroplast. So what is the chloroplast? The chloroplast produces energy through photosynthesis. Basically, light is converted into chemical energy, producing oxygen and other organic compounds. Chloroplast also contains chlorophyll, which is the green pigment that is seen in most plants, and this helps in the production of compound food molecules. So we can relate chloroplast to the groundskeeper. This is because the groundskeeper manages the playing field and helps maintain the grass, keeping it green and playable for athletes. The chloroplast also provides energy through photosynthesis, which can be seen in the groundskeeper using fertilizer on the field. Fertilizer would supply the field nutrients to allow the field to remain healthy.
Next on the list is the vacuole. So the vacuole in plant cells is used as water storage. The vacuole helps maintain water balance, and it also gives the plant cell their structure and their shape. And in the animal cells, they act as waste removers, so they get rid of unwanted material from the cell. So water boy is very similar to the vacuole. It provides water, like in the plant cell, giving the players their water, and it helps them maintain like their performance. and they also kind of act like a towel manager, which means they get rid of the used disposed towels, just like how the vacuoles dispose of waste in the cell.
Okay, next we're talking about lysosomes, which are like the stomach for the cell because they carry out intracellular digestion to break down foreign materials and waste. They also contain powerful enzymes and acids that are involved in digestion and also in apoptosis or cell death. So the lysosomes can be compared to the sweeper on the soccer team because the sweeper is a defensive position that clears away any like offensive shots or balls that the defense miss, and he regains possession for his teammates, just like the lysosome recycles loose material for other purposes. The sweeper can also put in last-minute tackles to prevent a goal, but he runs the risk of being sent off. So this is like the lysosome performing programmed cell death because it's part of the cell's function, but it also destroys the cell.
Okay, so next up we have the cytoskeleton. The cytoskeleton's main function is to provide support and protection for the cell, as well as aid in movement. It has three main parts: the microtubules, which help in cell movement, the intermediate filaments, which help support the microtubules, and the microfilaments, which help in pulling force, especially in muscle cells. So the cytoskeleton is similar to the support the cell. The fan bases are also what connects teams from certain cities to cities, and this is similar to how the cytoskeleton aids in cell movement from place to place.
The next we have is the centrioles. The centriole is the organelle that helps the cell organize itself and also helps locate where the nucleus and other organelles of the cell are. The centriole's also main function is to contribute and encourage cell division. So we can relate centrioles to strategists/analysts. This is because cell division can be seen as determining the soccer team's formation, and the strategist determining where each player should be.
Finally, we have the plasma cell membrane. So the plasma cell membrane, it acts as a gatekeeper. It acts like a defensive wall for like certain materials to not be in the cell, and it's also selectively permeable, which means they regulate what can go in and out and establish that homeostasis so that the cell is stable. And the plasma membrane, it is like a coach of the soccer team. The coach decides the roster. They kind of just choose and pick who should be on the field and who should be out of the field and who should take a break by swapping out the players.
Okay, thank you so much for watching our video about the parts of a eukaryotic cell, and we hope this has helped you understand cell's parts and how they work together like a winning soccer team.